Le'Veon Bell, there's going to be a ton of debate about where to rank him. And the funny thing is, whether in any ranking I've done, and I'll say the same thing about James Conner right here. If you leave James Conner or Le'Veon Bell out of your top 10, you're crazy. You get tons of negative comments. You get tons of hate email. And people basically get upset. And if you rank either one of those guys in your top 10, you get the same exact reaction. No one's happy across the board with your Le'Veon Bell and James Conner rankings and predictions. But I think Le'Veon Bell belongs in this top 6 to 7, maybe even 8 range if you want to put Henry above him. But to me, I'm going to go with McCaffrey and point per reception above Elliott. But I love this ranking right here for point per reception with Barkley, Gurley. I'll put Gurley ahead of him if you're thinking more of the now versus the future with your dynasty ranking. It depends on how you're building. A lot of people will build only for the now. A lot of people will build strictly for the future and try and build a team that you can win for a decade with the same roster. But you know what? The way I look at it is in Dynasty, I think you should look 2 to 3 years ahead at the most, because running back that is 22, 23 years old could still only play 4 elite years, whereas a running back, is 25, can still do that. So, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon are kind of interchangeable here. I'm going to put Bell ahead of him for now. And yes, we have to make assumptions. And that's another thing that people kind of get upset about. You start talking about ranking a guy like Le'Veon Bell or a player like James Conner, and you don't know their situation. And you're assuming where they're landing, and you have to in January. And if you don't want early rankings in January, well, that's fine too. But we're providing that. That's what I do. So you're going to see me make assumptions, and I'm making an assumption that Le'Veon Bell lands in a pretty good spot. If he doesn't, we will adjust and make changes. But if trading today, and sleeperu.com is a dynasty and redraft site, trying to give advice to people who want to acquire players at the right values at the right times, now's the time to maybe buy low. If you're seeing something different than this 5 to 6 ranking in your league, across your leagues, in the circles that you're in, then it's time to attack. He can become a big name sleeper as well. But I'll have Melvin Gordon there. Derrick Henry deserves to be in this conversation. So does Mixon. But I have DJ personally. I think the ADPs are going to have DJ and Cook down in this range. You might even see Dalvin Cook in the 14 to 15 range. But I actually have these two guys next. So I have Dalvin Cook and David Johnson in my 8-9 spot. And I will say that both of those spots, they can still explode from those draft values. And that's what makes them sleepers and almost protected into awesome value no matter what happens. Because by default, the running backs above them, no matter what, going to be ranked above them heading into August even. So Cook and David Johnson are kind of protected in a range that I don't think they can climb out of, even if people get optimistic.